Hey guys, so I'm back with another recipe video for you today. This is my highly Instagrammed Southwest chicken salad. You guys always want to know how I make this, so I figured it's about time I show you. It's really easy, so let's get started. So I went ahead and boiled 3 chicken breasts, and then once they were done cooking in the hot water, I just shredded them up, and then I will show you how I kind of doctor this chicken up. I'm starting with 10 cloves of garlic, which is kind of a lot. You can cut that down if you don't like it as garlicky, and then 1 medium onion diced up into fine little strips, and then I went ahead and minced all the garlic as well. And then in my saute pan, I'm going to heat up a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm going to be sauteing my chicken as well as the garlic and the onions, but I want the vegetables to soften down a little bit first. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my onions and let those cook down a little bit until they're pretty translucent and soft. I'm also going to season each layer with salt and pepper. I like to use a thicker kosher salt and coarse black pepper for this, just to give it a little bit more depth of flavor. After about 10 minutes, my onions have started to slightly caramelize and soften up, and at this point is when I will add the garlic. I don't like to add the garlic sooner than this because the onions cook a lot quicker than the garlic, and if you burn the garlic, it leaves you with a really nasty, slightly burnt flavor. So I'll just add that in and give it a quick stir and let the garlic cook for a couple minutes before I add the chicken back into the saute pan. At this point, I'm going to add my shredded chicken back into the saute pan, and honestly, I love keeping shredded chicken around. I love to shred a bunch of chicken up and keep it in the fridge or the freezer, and then I can use that chicken to make tons and tons of different recipes. Now, besides salt and pepper, there are a few spices I use. I'm using onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, and chili powder. And I kind of just eyeball these to how much I feel I need. And you can always adjust seasoning according to how you like it, but I don't really actually measure it. I normally just do it by taste, and I tend to like a lot of spice. So if you don't like it super spicy, you can always turn it down to however you like it best. To this mixture, I'm also going to be adding about a half a cup of water. This just kind of helps to give the chicken a really nice sauce, and it helps to infuse all of the flavor, and it gives a lot more moisture back into the chicken, as well as helps the seasoning just kind of coat everything evenly. So I will just let this simmer on the stove, tossing it every so often until most of the water is absorbed, and it honestly smells so amazing. When I usually buy extra peppers, I end up cutting them into strips and freezing them into little individual portions. So I pulled one of those out of the freezer, and I'm gonna go ahead and dice those peppers up, and then I just have a large cast iron skillet, and I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to it, and then throw my red peppers in to get those soft, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a whole can of corn that I drained and rinsed, and mix these together, add a little bit of salt and pepper, and cook them until they're nice and golden brown. So I'm going to be using these home-style whole grain and flaxseed wraps. These are a low-carb wrap with tons of protein, and I'm going to be taking 2 of them today. This makes a lot more than just 1 serving, but I'm just going to show you how I make my little tortilla chips, or tortilla strips, I should say. So I'm just going to take 2 tortillas and cut them in half, and then fold them in half and stack them on top of each other, and then cut them in half again, and then you'll end up with a kind of rectangular piece and a rounded off piece. The rectangle piece you're just going to cut into little tiny strips, and then same thing with the rounded piece. You're just going to end up with a couple little awkward pieces that you can just snack on, and just cut everything up, and then we're going to toss it all in a bowl and add some spices. Once I have all of my tortilla strips cut up, I'm going to throw them in a bowl with a little bit of olive oil, and then season them with some salt and some coarsely ground black pepper. I'm also going to be seasoning them with a little bit of onion and garlic powder. You can do this to taste or just completely leave them plain. As always, it's up to you. And then I'm also going to be adding a little bit of chili powder as well. And then I will give those all a really nice toss to make sure everything is evenly coated. and then I will put them on an even layer on top of a baking sheet and bake them in my oven for about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how your oven runs. Just make sure that you keep an eye because they can kind of burn quickly, and once they come out, they are this beautiful shade of golden brown, and they're gonna add a really awesome texture and crunch to our salad. To finish off this salad, you're just going to need a bowl of washed and dried, finely diced romaine lettuce, as well as some extra sharp cheddar cheese. And then I also had a can of black beans that I just heated up and seasoned with salt and pepper and a little bit of olive oil. And then I have the corn and pepper mixture that we had already made earlier, as well as an avocado, a cucumber, and then for the dressing today, we're using just a little teeny tiny bit of ranch. Then I will just peel the cucumber that I had already cut in half and then cut it in half again lengthwise. And then I will use a spoon to scoop out all of the seeds from the inside of the cucumber just because I don't really like the texture of them. And then I will cut my cucumber into planks and then give it a really fine dice. I'm going to start by cutting my avocado in half lengthwise and then twisting it to separate the two halves. And then I'm only going to be using half of the avocado for this recipe today. Depending on how big I make the salad, I do sometimes use the full thing, but I'm just going to put a piece of press and seal wrap on the side that still has a pit in it and save that side because actually the pit helps to keep it from going brown. So I always try and use the other side first, and I'll just take my spoon and scoop out the flesh of the avocado and then run my knife through it and dice it nice and fine. So this is how you make my favorite Southwest chicken salad. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you tag me in pictures on Instagram if you end up making this. I would love to hear how you guys enjoyed it. And if you're not yet following me on Instagram, make sure that you go ahead and do that so you can see more recipes like this when I make dinner every single night at Halobeauty YT. I would love to be friends with you guys on there, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!